interracial couple with 2 kids wanting to do something that highlights the power of friendship and what it means to be in the company of true friends. We're going to move our society away and out of the loneliness epidemic and into a friendlier, happier world. Welcome to Our Friendly World. Better, stronger, together.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
So, one of our favorite shows, little secret for you guys.
Uh-oh.
One of our family's favorite shows to watch is because we like to yell at the TV a lot when we watch movies and stuff. But one of our favorite shows is Family Feud.
Oh, goodness.
And it's been years now, to the point where when I became a yoga instructor and I was teaching at that racist yoga school.
Yes.
I would start the class by saying, "We've got a good one for you today, folks."
Because
I would say that because that's what
the host says, has this certain things that he says, and that's one of the things he says.
he always says that.
We got
and I
2
love
good
that.
families today.
Right. I love when Steve Harvey says, "We've got a good one for you today, folks." And I would use that as inspiration because all my yoga classes had a message basically showing how these women were racist.
Oh, dear.
But I wasn't condemning. I was just like, like giving examples of how we can be better. But anyway, that's how I started my shows. But we've got a good one for you today, folks. But instead of a good one, I want to say, dare I say, we've got a boring one for you today, folks. Or at least it's a boring. Okay, so Matt wants to talk about the specialness and the worthiness and the wonderfulness of routine, which is something I cannot stand. I can't even.
Let's spin that around for a second. Let's replace the word routine with the word ritual.
Okay, that's better.
It is, isn't it?
But
though?
That's not what you said.
But no,
that's not what
it's
you
the
said
same word. It's you go through, you perform your rituals every day.
I love that, Ben. Okay, we've got a good one for you today, folks.
Just by virtue of spinning it on one word.
Well, I mean, I hate routine. That's why I never follow a recipe. Right? So...
Yes, she never follows a recipe, folks. Oh, my goodness.
I really
This
don't.
is really good. What did you do to it? I don't know.
No, I do know. I do know, but I just use my intuition and I'm not going to follow a recipe. Most of our home is like covered wall to wall with beautiful cookbooks, right? But I just look at them like romance novels. I'm like, that's nice. I'm just going to do it this way, though. Like I don't like measuring. I don't believe in measuring.
And you should watch us trying to leave the library nowadays without at least 7 cookbooks.
Guys, I feel so bad. We have the best library, and I'll always take all their new books. They're amazing. And then I'll keep them and keep renewing them. The other day I asked if the kids would renew them for me because I can't renew them anymore. And they just looked at me like, no. Mom. Anyway, so... You want to tell everyone how we came up with just this discussion topic?
Well, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So I have things fly across my desk all the time. Usually it's, British, and usually it's very newsy. But every once in a while I get something that, while still British, isn't particularly newsy. But the article was talking about how during the pandemic, it was literally... They felt like they were at their happiest they had ever been because they had their rituals. They had their daily routine. And now that, we're quote unquote out of the pandemic, that things are getting not as happy anymore. Like they were literally happiest during the pandemic, which is really kind of weird and uncomfortable to think about.
Well, it was the only time everyone was forced to sit still and not work and not be obliged to be going to events and, being out there. Like people got to have the time to just be and relax or rest or nap, things that we never have time for. For example, hanging out with family. Like Just being there. Not having so many scheduled stuff. Just being there. Simple.
Right.
But yeah, that's where the ritual of making bread came in for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where, I don't know how it was in other countries, but there was no yeast. Like people were into making yeast breads. And there was no yeast, and also no, in America, it was hard to find flour. And then I'm like, oh, well, it's good to be us because, we use like quinoa, we use like weird flours.
Right.
Because we're vegan and all that stuff. And then pretty soon everyone got hip to quinoa.
Devils.
And then we couldn't find anything. We're like, okay, I guess we're not going to do any bread. Anyway. But yeah, it became our ritual, and it's lovely. It's really good to slow down and be mindful of everything that you're doing. Slow it down and pay attention. And whatever you're doing, do your very best.
Right. Absolutely. And this article then went further in to start talking about, there's a new movie out. It's called Perfect Days. And it's about this guy who kind of lives the same day every day.
It's a Japanese movie was it created by Wim Wenders?
Directed by.
Directed. Amazing.
But it's about this guy who it just goes around Tokyo and he cleans public toilets. That's his job. But his day is filled with routine.
And there's very little dialogue in the whole movie.
But his day is literally filled with routine. And yet he has this incredible sense of peace throughout his days.
It was great to watch.
And the question is why?
Why do you think?
Funny you should ask.
Why do you think, Matt? Because the kids and I were like rolling with laughter.
You guys were just ripping on this poor movie.
No, well, we were ripping on it because we're all germaphobes. And like in the first few minutes of the movie, he's picking up stuff from the floor of the bathrooms with his bare hands. And we're like, oh, like, why isn't he using gloves?
And then he was eating that white bread sandwich.
They didn't show him ever washing his hands, so we were freaking out. But he was so meticulous about everything he did, like clean, Anyway, so we don't know what you were thinking.
Well, and then they got into the fact that, it takes place like today. But the guy has an analog tape deck in the van he goes around in. So he has tapes.
Many tape decks. Like all his music.
He has one tape deck, but he has
tape deck.
He has 7 or so tapes.
Right.
And he listens to the same tapes.
Does anybody remember those and you had to rewind them by putting a pen in there and like rewinding it? Unless your tape deck rewound it for you.
Exactly.
Right?
My tape decks are always rewound for me. Thank you. Anyways, and he had
But that was part of his ritual. He rewound it by hand.
That was part of his routine.
Okay. Well.
See, you want to say ritual. I want to say routine now.
All right.
Anyways, and he has he has a cell phone, but it's a flip phone. He doesn't have.
Does he have that, or was that given to him because?
No, he has that.
Okay. All right.
And he has a point and shoot camera that takes film.
He had to go to the film store.
Part of one of his many routines is to go and get a roll of film developed.
It was once a month he went and then to have it processed.
Then he looks at all the film. He takes a look at all the pictures he's taken in black and white, and he tears up most of them because they're not what he saw.
Welcome to the world of photography.
Yes, indeed. But he lives inside of this world of routine, and he seems to be pretty gosh darn happy about it. Now, misfortune, blah, blah, blahs do happen in the course of the movie, but I think that serves only to illuminate the understanding that life is life. And just because you live in this world of almost inherent fulfillment, that doesn't mean into all lives a little rain must fall. And that is life. So it really got me thinking. It's certainly a subject that I've bumped into a number of times. We live in a world where we are so beyond spoiled for choice. Like, we were interested in watching this movie. We got the movie. You're interested in anything. There's, what is it? There's like 20 different, blue jeans, for instance. There's like 1,000 different blue jeans to get.
We literally have everything in our fingertips.
Everything in our fingertips.
Physically.
Does that make us happy? It should. The fact that I can walk into Starbucks and order 90,000 different beverages off of their menu.
We live
That's the combination.
Yeah,
it's like 90,000 different beverages between milks and syrups and different roasts of beans and
So basically we are living like royalty.
yes.
We have everything that we want as long as you have money.
That is true.
Which was another question we were talking about yesterday in the family. Like, of course money makes you happy. Heck yes it does. But you were saying no.
I said no. Money does not make you happy. I said that having money relieves you of a source of stress in your life.
Which makes me happy.
But that does not equate to happiness. That's the trick. That's the danger. That's the everything. If you're inherently unhappy and you get $1 billion, you're still inherently unhappy.
Well, inherently, I am a happy person, but the stress of everything, going to the freaking doctor in America, even when you have health insurance and you still end up thousands of dollars in debt, does not make me happy.
Right. Well, it increases your stress.
So, yeah, there has been so much stress for us that, yeah, money is totally going to make me happy.
A reduction in stress does not equal happiness.
But I'm just saying, inertly or inside, I'm at my core happy. I am.
And that's what everybody would say.
No.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
As it turns out, everybody likes to say that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt. What else have you got to say?
Well, we're spoiled for choice. And the problem is too much choice is not a good thing.
That's true. That's something I learned pretty quickly having kids. Like, if we did ever go somewhere to eat or like to like an ice cream parlor that was vegan, we didn't tell the kids, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want that? Or do you want this? Let me read you the whole menu. To make things happier and because it stressed them out, like to choose from so many different flavors, right? We would say, do you want chocolate or strawberry?
Right. Right. And in point of fact, if I'm ever at a restaurant, I order the first thing I see that I think I like. And that's it. I don't look any further.
That's not fair because you speed read.
I speed read and I pick the best thing on the menu. No. And that's just it. I don't necessarily, it's not about speed reading. It's about taking a look at the headers, right? Because everything has heading. And then being like, oh, yeah, I think I want a rice dish. And then zoom. And then down the list of rice dishes until, oh, that one looks good. Good. Let me close my menu. I'm done.
Now I'm like, oh, the poor person that has to come help us at the table.
What? I'm done.
They have to come back like 8 times because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I still don't know. I don't know.
Now, where I get hosed is like when I take a look at, I can have half a sandwich and half a soup, and here's my 5 choices of soups, and here's my 3 choices. I'm hosed. That's it. That's problematic for me.
See, I don't like half of anything. I want the whole thing. I don't want a half sandwich. If I want a sandwich, I want a whole sandwich. Wow. So I just had a drink. Did you hear that? My throat. It's either my stomach or my throat.
Now you're going to have to include that in.
All my body parts want to speak.
Yay. Anyways. No, and in point of fact, they actually determine, psychologists, like they put out in two different samples, basically. In case 1, they put out 24 jars of jam. And they entreated people, they enticed people to come sample. And they got 60% of folks sampling, and you can buy at a discounted rate, anyone you want. So they got 60% of people enticed, and only 3% of those people bought any jams.
Yeah, because you go into analysis paralysis.
Exactly. And when they put out 6 jams, they could only entice 40% of people. So less people to actually try but 30%, 10 times more percent bought.
Isn't that boring though? Because now you're saying, hey kids, you can only have chocolate or strawberry. You don't get to experience cardamom or garlic ice cream, like something bizarre.
Yeah, but then you go to wherever, you go to the garlic festival and you try garlic ice cream.
But then you have to wait ages for that, So
And
this
you're
is
right.
where, like, for
You're
me,
right.
the boring thing
It
comes
is
in.
boring. You are absolutely right. But ultimately, what happens when we have too many choices, like you said, it's analysis paralysis, because we firmly believe that whatever choice we make, we could have made a better choice.
True. Or we can say, you know what? Today, our choices are amongst 150 million. We're just going to choose between chocolate and strawberry. However, I think next week we should concentrate on cardamom and maybe saffron also. So, like,
You're practically making a fist over there at me.
so I'm just
like,
saying,
dang it.
so you put it as your to-do list. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm going to experience. I'm not always going to stick to chocolate and strawberry. Today, this is our choice. Like, today, this is what our focus is. Today, this is our focus. But tomorrow, we're going to try different things. That I can kind of roll with. But yeah, I don't like the don't give me any choice.
Oh, I'm not saying no choice whatsoever. I'm saying we have too much.
You sound like, dare I say, isn't that communism?
Or it could be Henry Ford. You can have Model T in any color as long as it's black.
Wasn't Ford an anti-Semitic
Yes,
person?
he was.
So I don't think that's a good example
I
for me.
know,
Thank
I
you.
know.
Or for anyone.
I was just making a stupid Anderson joke.
Okay. Haha.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what are we saying? What does this have to do with friendship?
Well, there you go. It makes one of the aspects of friendship, honestly, and the deepening of friendship is, first of all, don't be spoiled for choice. You have a friend. Hopefully you have a friend. You have them. You look at them.
No problem if you don't. This is what we're here for.
This is one of the reasons why we're here, for sure. But when you do, it's about shared rituals, shared language, shared experience. And intimacy is produced by habit, by doing the same stuff. So
Ritual.
it's not about, oh my God, what are we going to do today? Looking at the literally infinite number of choices we have.
Yeah, that's true. In our family, what do you want? I ask you guys, what do you want?
What do you want for dinner?
I don't know, whatever. And it's so funny because I saw something on Instagram and the mother was like, this is what I'm serving for dinner. And she put on a plate these note cards that said, one plate said whatever. And the other one said, I don't know. Here's your dinner. But yeah, because we always end up like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And that's what happens when you get together with friends, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's about shared ritual. It's about having a plan. It's like dating. Have a plan. Guys out there, have a plan.
Or gals, or whatever.
Have a plan when you go out on a date. I tell you.
Anyone.
Have a plan.
People dating.
Have a plan. One of y'all should have a plan.
I did like that you had a plan for our first date and all the dates after that. I didn't like the dates. Like,
Hey-o.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Because you guys don't ever play a game with me. I'm beyond competitive to the point I'm just violent. I don't like it. I don't like keeping score. And so
keep score.
our first date, Matt takes us miniature golfing, which I can't
It's
stand.
a staple of 1950s dating. Come on.
I was like,
Mid-century modern.
I was trying to hold it together. And then he pulls out his little card for scorekeeping.
Oh, yeah. She's looking at me.
Next, let's just,
Love is winning.
love is winning. Let's go. What were you saying now? Ritual. Oh, have a plan.
Have a plan. Just have a plan.
But because you did have a plan, it was still obviously a wonderful date. I didn't enjoy the scorekeeping and me losing. I did not. like that.
But I also didn't spoil you for choice.
It was nice because it took the stress away.
Exactly.
And we ended up having fun, even though every time you put your little pencil to the paper.
Yeah, that's me with 3 and you with 8.
You still have that, don't you?
I do.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember some years ago I was trying to make friends in Colorado, which I don't know. That was not where I belonged, where we belonged, honestly. It was so hard. And it was also the time in life or the time period in history. It was just not okay.
Right.
Anyway, but I remember meeting some people. We hadn't met in person yet. And they're like, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, I like everything. They're like, well, do you like horses? I'm like, I love horses. Because I'm thinking I'm a vegan. I love all animals. She wanted to go horseback riding, but she was a serious like dressage, like country club horse riding person. And I'm like, whoa, no. She's like, do you like hiking? I'm like, yeah, I love it. I love nature.
Oh, dear.
No.
No, you don't like nature.
No, I love nature, but I'm terrified of it. I don't like to be in it.
You like to look at it from a screen, from inside of a screen door.
I like to be with a bunch of people so they can be in front of me when the bear line comes. You guys, we went, okay, so again, Colorado, we took a class with a park ranger. This park ranger was badass. She was like, what, in her 60s or 70s?
We learned the word scat.
We learned so much that day, but she was off the hook, as they say. Or do you guys still say that?
Off the chain?
She was a gangster of nature. So we're walking and I'm right behind her because everybody else was very like blasé about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew there were like, because we lived in an area where we had mountain lions all the time, rattlesnakes, just scary stuff. So I'm walking inches right behind her. So we're walking and she stops and then everyone starts talking. They're not paying attention and I'm watching her. She takes off her backpack, takes out this massive thing and just plops it on the ground on the trail. And I'm holding the kids' hands, our kids. And so the three of us are just like, what is she doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw what she dropped on the ground and we got scared, but we knew it was not real, but we still got scared. Like, what is she doing? And so here come the joggers and the hikers that chomp through the trail really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's no big deal. And they come within 5 inches of this thing. And then they stop and they squeal. And this happened several times. And she's like, you see, it would have been too late for them. So basically she had this...
it was a rubber rattlesnake.
It was big, you guys. A rattlesnake. It looked so real. Like it was totally real looking. And I was inches away from it. And I'm like, that's why we were scared because it looked so real. And every single person stopped too late. She's like, too late. They would have been bitten. And that's also the day she taught us about out of the blue. So you're at the continental divide. It could happen anywhere. But she told us where the term out of the blue comes from. So we made it on the hike. She gave us so many facts along the way. I'm terrified with every minute, learning more information for me to be terrified about nature. Scared of nature. Thank you. It was not helping. So we get to the top of the mountain, or where, it was a mountain, right? We get to the top,
Mm-hmm.
the tippy top.
Yes.
And it's a clear day. It's very hot. The sky is blue. And I'm like, whew, we made it. The kids are upset. They're tired. They're hot. And I'm like, let's just rest here. Thank goodness. Whew, safety. Because there was nothing around, right? You're at the top. And then she goes, this is the perfect time to get hit by lightning. I'm like, what? So she told us, you see those clouds way over there? Now they're miles away. There's another mountain range that you could see because it's a clear day. And they had a few little clouds on top. She goes, this is the term out of the blue. This is where it comes from because lightning can reach us right here. So she was telling us what to do if there's a lightning strike. don't run towards the trees, because that's what people want to do, is take cover. One of the most dangerous things you can do. Don't do that. So you all have to separate. Do I remember right, Matt? She told us to get into like a frog position. Like you have to squat, and like you have to squat on the ground and make sure that both feet are planted, and you cover your head.
Right. It's about circles. Again.
But you have to get very low on the ground.
Yes.
And you can't be near each other. So everyone has to scatter, which again goes against everything my intuition would say. Like, I just want to hug somebody and go, oh, I'm scared. Anyway, I digress once again.
What does this have to do with rituals and routines?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, I'm ready to put this guy in a little bow. And,
Okay.
For me, it's about, if you have too many choices, you're never going to make the right one. So just make one. And try not to dwell on it, because you're just going to possibly disappoint yourself. Like, oh, I should have gotten vanilla when you got chocolate, or whatever it is.
That's why it's nice to share.
It is nice to share, for sure. But
Why
yeah,
did I
you can have a great deal more kind of happiness in general if you definitely perform rituals and just clear your head and try and free yourself out of the whole fear of missing out and all the rest of it.
Okay, before we take off,
Yes.
can you give us some examples of rituals and why this movie struck you so much? Like why, and what do you think his favorite day was in that movie? Because wasn't that the title?
Every day was his perfect day. It's called Perfect Days.
Oh.
Every day was perfect. I mean, he chose exactly how to spend every day, which included cleaning toilets.
Right.
But he chose how to spend every moment of every day.
So, ritual.
But he didn't second guess, and he didn't, none of that stuff.
So it's the way you bathe is a ritual.
Yes.
The way you have your food is a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
The way you come in contact with other people is a ritual.
Right.
Everything. Everything, anything can be a ritual.
And you should try to pick, and sometimes it's impossible, but you should always try and pick those rituals that make you happy.
And so here, okay, so going back to the ugly word routine.
Yes.
If you don't treat it like a ritual, it becomes routine and ugly and boring.
If you say so.
But if you put some special attention on it, then it's a ritual. Matt just touched his nose and he pointed at me. So ding, ding, ding. Correct answer?
That was an excellent point. Thank you, babe.
Thank you. I came up with it all by myself.
You did too. Challenge. Excelsior.
All right, guys, we're going to take off, but we're always here. Please reach out to us, all right? We wish you beautiful every days. Have a beautiful every day. If you need us, you know how to get a hold of us, okay?
Find your rituals.
See you later.
Be well.